the father again asked his son the fourth time, "What is this?" At this time, the son shouted at his father, "Why do you keep asking me the same question again and again? Although I have told you many times it's a crow, are you not able to understand it?" A little later, the father went to his room and came back with his old tattered diary, which he maintained since his son was born. On opening a page, his father asked his son to read that page. When the son read it, the following words were written in the diary. "Today, my little son, aged 3, was sitting with me on the sofa when a crow was sitting on the window. My son asked me 23 times what it was, and I answered him all 23 times that it was a crow. I did not at all feel irritated. I rather felt affection for my little child." While the little child asked his father the same question again and again for 23 times, the father had felt no irritation in answering him the same question again and again for 23 times. And when today the father asked his son the same question for just 4 times, the son felt irritated and annoyed. "From today, say this aloud. I want to see my parents happy forever. They have cared for me since I was a little child. They have showered their senseless love on me. They have climbed all mountains and valleys without seeing the dust and storms to make me a person presentable in the society today. Thank you."
Thank you so much, Mr. Rudra. I would like to add up to this point, and now please clap it after this. I'm going to speak for your favor. Thank you so much. Moving on to the next participant, we have Ms. Tanisha, who is going to speak on the Frog's Prince. A round of applause for her.
Today, IKT is here to narrate a story named The Frog Prince. Once upon a time, there was a beautiful princess who had a golden ball. One day, while playing in the garden, the ball fell into a pond. She was very upset and did not know what to do. While she sat there crying helplessly, a frog hopped out of the pond and asked, "Why are you crying, little princess?" She told him about the golden ball. The ugly frog said, "I can help you, but what will you give me in return?" "I will give you anything you want," promised the princess. The frog immediately dived into the water and fetched the ball for her. She was very happy. The frog reminded her, "Remember, you promised me anything." "Well, I want to be your friend, eat from your plate and sleep in your palace." The princess hated the idea, but she agreed and ran back to the palace. The next morning, she found the frog waiting for her. He said, "I have come here to live in your palace." Hearing this, the princess ran to her father crying. When the kind king heard about the promise, he told the princess that a promise is a promise and you must keep your word. Hearing this, the princess was very angry, but she had no choice and let the frog stay. He ate from her plate during the dinner and asked the princess to take him to her bed at night. The princess angrily picked him up and threw him at the floor. In a flash, the ugly frog turned into a handsome prince. He told the princess that he had actually been under a spell of a big witch. The princess fell in love with the prince. They both were married and lived happily ever after. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Next we have Mr. Jayavardhan, who is going to speak on the given topic, which is the parable of the pencil. A round of applause for him, please.
Everyone, today George is going to narrate a story on the topic parable of the pencil. The pencil maker took the pencil aside just before keeping him into the box. "There are 5 things you need to know," he told the pencil, "before I send you out into the world. Remember them and never forget them, and you will become the best pencil you can be. First, you will be able to do many great things, but only if you allow yourself to be held in someone's hand. Second, you will experience a painful shouting from time to time, but you will need it to become a better pencil. Third, you will be able to make any mistake might make. 4. The most important part of you will always be what's inside. And 5th, on every surface you are used on, you must leave your mark. No matter what the situation, you must continue to write. The pencil understood and promised to remember, and went inside the box with some purpose in his heart. Now replacing the place of the pencil with you, always remember them and never forget them, and you will become the best person you can be. First, you will be able to do many great things, but only if you allow yourself to be held in God's hand. All the other human beings to assess for the many gifts you possess. Second, you will experience a painful sharpening time to time, but you will need it to become a stronger person. Third, you will be able to correct any mistake you might make. Fourth, the most important part of you will always be what's on the inside. And fifth, on every surface you can walk, no matter what the condition, you must continue to write. This parable of the pencil encourages you to know that you are a special person. Only you can fulfill the purpose which you were born to accomplish. Never allow yourself to get discouraged or think that your life is insignificant and cannot make a change. Thank you and have a nice day.
Thank you so much, Mr. Jayawardhan. Next we have Sahej, who's going to speak on the clever thief. Can we have a round of applause, please? Thank you.
Hello everybody, my name is Sage and today I am going to narrate a story. The name of the story is The Clever Thief. One day, a thief saw an old man counting his money. The thief wished to snatch his money. By making some excuse, the thief decided to fool the old man and take away his money. Why are you stealing fruits from my orchard? The thief shouted in anger at the old man. You must be mistaken, said the old man. I do not like fruits, so why should I steal fruits from your orchard? Oh, stop it, growled the thief. Then he thought for a while and said, last year you spoke bad things about me to your neighbors. No, it cannot be true. I did not live in this house last year, replied the old man. Well then, if it was not you, it certainly must have been a brother. It cannot have been from a brother. Died 2 years ago, answered the old man. Never mind, I know. That was definitely an old man like you. I will not accept any more excuse, said the thief. Then he snatched the old man's money and ran away with it. The moral of the story is, bad people will find any excuse to do bad things. Thank you and have a nice day.
Yes, of course, on that note, you should never find an excuse. When you want to do something good, do it. Alright? Next, at last in this group, but not the least, we have Manik, who's going to speak on the God's trust. Can we have a round of applause for him, please?
Good afternoon to you all. Today I am Michael, stand before you to narrate a story. My topic is Trust in God. Abraham and Sarah were very happy to have a son of their own. One day, God decided to test Abraham's faith. Offer Isaac to me as a sacrifice, ordered God. It was difficult for Abraham to choose between God and his son. However, he opted for God's order. He took Isaac and 2 of his servants and set out in the direction showed by God. After traveling for 3 days, they stopped at a place. Abraham and Isaac went ahead, while the servants waited with the donkey. On reaching the top of the mountain, Abraham built an altar. He tied his son with rope and laid him on the wood. His heart cried, but he held faith in God. As he took out his knife, and the angel of God appeared and stopped him. The angel said, "Stop! You have proved your trust in God, and I will bless you with as many descendants as the stars in the sky." Just then a ram with horns appeared in nearby bush. Abraham called the place, "The Lord will provide." Thank you and have a nice day.
we'll move on to the next group who is again going to, put up some stories in front of you. But before that, we will have Mr. Wilson with us, who's going to perform again a music and a song for you guys. So are you all set for that fun? Yes. I still can't hear you. I don't really feel good in saying this. Are you all set for this fun? Yes. No, I want it more louder. Are you all set? Yes. Thank you.
I love this song because this song talks about how great God is. The splendor of the King, clothed in majesty, let all the earth rejoice, all the earth rejoice. He wrapped himself in light, and darkness tried to hide, and trembled at his voice, trembled at his voice. How great is our God? Sing with me, how great is our God? No, sing how great is our God. Age to age we stand, and time is in His hand. Beginning and the end. God had treated well. Father, Spirit, Son, Lion and the Lamb, Lion and the Lamb. How great is our God? Sing with me, how great is our God? And oh, sing how great is our God. How great is our God? Sing with me, how great is our God? And oh, sing how great is our God. Name above all names, worthy of our praise. My heart will sing, how great is our God. Name above all names, worthy of our praise. My heart will sing, how great is our God. How great is our God. How great is our God. And don't sing how great is our God.
All right. I want to hear it more louder if it was really nice. Can we have the clapping, please? Thank you so much. Thanks, Mr. Wilson. That's really entertaining. With stories, if you get some music, it's really amazing. All right. On that note, we move on to the next group, which is group 3, and we call it Spartans. We call it Spartans. And the first performer is Miss Drishti, who's going to speak on Snow White. Miss Drishti, can we have you on stage, please? A round of applause for her.
Hello everyone, today Sarah is here to narrate a story, and the name of the story is Snow White. Once upon a time there lived a lovely princess with fair skin and blue eyes. She was so fair that she was named Snow White. Her mother died when Snow White was a baby, and her father married again. This queen was very pretty, but she meals and clean the house for them. Like this, 7 Drops loved her and cared for her very much. Then, every morning when 7 Drops left the house, they instructed Snow White never to open the doors to strangers and never to talk to strangers. Meanwhile, in the palace, the witch stepmother asked her magic mirror, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of them all?" And the magic mirror would say, "Snow White is the fairest of them all, who lives with 7 Drops in tiny cottage." The witch stepmother was furious. She was actually a witch and knew how to make the magic potions. Now she made a poisonous potions and dipped red shiny apple into it. Then she disguised herself as an old peasant woman and went to the woods with red apple. She knocked the cottage door and said, "Little child, let me in. Look what I have for you." Snow White said, "I am so sorry. I can't open the door for you because 7 Drops asked me never to talk to strangers and never to open the doors to strangers." But when Snow White saw a red shiny apple, she opened the door for an old lady. Then old lady offered her an apple. When poor Snow White took a bite of an apple, she fell into a deep sleep. Then the witch stepmother went back to the palace and asked her magic mirror, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of them all?" And the magic mirror would say, "You are, your majesty." And the witch stepmother was very happy. At night when 7 Drops came and found Snow White lying on the floor, they were very upset. All night they cried and built a glass coffin for Snow White. Then they kept glass coffin in front of a tiny cottage. One day a Prince Charming was going past to the tiny cottage and found Snow White lying on the floor. He said to the 7 Drops, My, she's so beautiful. I would like to kiss her." And he did. Immediately Snow White opened her eyes and she was alive again. Prince Charming and 7 Drops were very happy. Then Prince married Snow White and took to his palace. Then they lived happily ever after. Thank you.
And so that was Drishti, and next we have Yashika, who's going to speak on the topic which is Sleeping Beauty.
Good afternoon, everyone. Today Ayuri is here to narrate a story, and the name of the story is The Sleeping Beauty. Once upon a time, there lived a kind king and his queen. They had no children for many years and were very sad. Then one day, the queen gave birth to a lovely baby girl, and the whole kingdom became happy. There was a grand celebration, and all the fairies in the kingdom were invited. But the king forgot to invite an old fairy. She came to the celebrations, but was very angry. Soon, it was time to bless baby with special wishes. The good fairies blessed her and gave her beautiful gift. When it was the old fairy's turn, she said, when the baby would be 16, she will touch a spindle and die. Listening this, the king and the queen were shocked. They begged the old fairy to take her words back, but she refused to do so. The good fairy saw the king and the queen crying and said, "We can't undo the words which the old fairy has said, but we can make them different. Your child will not die when she will touch a spindle, but fall into a deep sleep for 100 years. Then a prince will come and wake her up." Listening this, the king and the queen were relieved. The king forbade the people of his kingdom from spinning, so that the princess would never touch a spindle. The princess grew to be a kind and beautiful girl. She would help people in need. Everyone loved her. Years passed. The princess was 16 years old. One day, she was walking into woods when she saw an old woman spinning. "What But the moment she touched the spindle, she fell on the floor in a deep slumber. Then the old lady took her to the palace, and the king and the queen laid her on the bed. They were very sad. They called the good fairies. The good fairies said and cast a spell over the palace that the princess would not be alone when she wake up after 100 years. Everyone, including guards, servants, cats, and cows, were all fast asleep. For 100 years, they all slept soundly. 100 years passed. A prince from far-off lands, he, along with his son, travelers, went deep inside the forest. They crossed many rivers. The prince lost his way and was separated from the other travelers. He reached the sleeping palace and was amazed. Everyone, the guards, the servants, the cows, the cats were all fast asleep. He entered the palace. He saw the sleeping princess. She was such beautiful that he kissed her. By that time, 100 years had passed and everyone in the palace was waking up one by one. The prince and the princess fell in love with each other. The prince wanted to marry the princess, so they asked their parents for the permission. The king and the queen arranged for a royal wedding. Soon, they both were married and rode to the prince's palace far, far away. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So that was Yashika. Next, we will have Mr. Nicholas. A round of applause for Mr. Nicholas, please. Before he starts, one important announcement that in the end we're going to give a memento as a token of respect and prize to all the participants who has participated and spoken right here on the stage. Right? And after that, we're going to have a group photograph. So please stay tuned with us till the end. Right? Thank you so much.
Hello everyone, my name is Nicholas and today I'm going to narrate my story on the topic A Cock and the Horses. Once a cock lost his way and went inside the stable. He was very scared. He thought, Lord, where am I? I cannot find my way. This place looks so large and strange. I also do not see my friends and family anywhere. Just then, he heard a loud neigh. He was even more scared. He looked up and saw a horse starting out of the place and he asked, What are you doing in our home? This place is not meant for small creatures like you. Get out of here soon. The cock then realized that he was inside the stable. He thought, I must find my way out. I am feeling very lonely here. These horses look so different from